It's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom. We're back for part 2 of my chapel or church or whatever. What was I doing? I was leaving off. I was working on this back wall and looking for those walls. So I just want to do one more thing here real quick. I'd like to get a piece of wood across the bottom here. And to do that, I'm just going to go thin bead a. Oh, that was too crazy. That was supposed to be a thin bead of glue. And I just want to frame that out and straighten that out some. Just make sure that's nice and flat. Alright, these sidewalls. These sidewalls need a certain amount of love because I need to get windows in here. So to do that, I have some little square slats that came from a board game. And I just popped them out and they're already kind of square. So I'm going to use those to make my window pieces. And to make sure I get them kind of in the same spots, I'm going to try to center them. And then go 3 on each side. Kind of the same way. And we can measure. And if you want to measure, go ahead. This would be a good time to do that. But I think I'm just going to freestyle it. You want to kind of go halfway up and down too, if you can get it centered good enough to do that. It might not be perfect if you're freestyling like I am, and that's okay too. I don't think anybody's going to pull out a tape measure and a level. And if they do, just tackle them before they get to the table. Just knock them down. If they keep fighting after that, well, you know what you got to do. Threatening to give them a -10 on all rolls. Okay, that's pretty close. This should be pretty even. I'm going to get my little this. Oh, I went way too far there. That was not what I wanted to do. Okay, there's our first wall. And then what I'd like to do to strengthen that up some, and to make sure it doesn't bow or anything, so I'm going to come across the top and the bottom with a thin bead. Something like that. And we're just going to get some excess. I don't know if I'm going to do the bottom. I did it on the back, so maybe I kind of have to. Maybe I'm obligated to. I feel like the top would hold it sturdy enough, but can't really just do one and not the other, I suppose. All right, so in each one of these bottoms of these window frames, I want to do something. Let me get some regular popsicle sticks, if I have some. Do I have some? Yes, I do. Let me get some regular popsicle sticks. And I'm gonna make those into little sills. And let's do one more. Okay, something like that. We'll set that off to the side. Let's cut this one out. This would be easier with a bigger knife. I don't know if this is sharp enough. I don't want to keep popping the blade down because I don't even know if I have spare blades for it. Okay, and I just lost a board somewhere, it popped off. Right there. And I'm just gonna pull that glue off. I'm going to put that back on there as carefully as I can. There we go. See how I cut that one crooked and bad. Even though I cut that crooked and bad, we'll be able to go back in there with a little bit of glue and put that sill on there and clean that up. Make it sturdy again, you know what I mean? See, we got a piece of loose right there too. We're just gonna get a dab of glue, shove it under there. Be like new. I'm just using that to make my little cut. Just a little. Make sure it fits kind of deal. I feel like my cut was off on that. It was just a tiny bit. Okay, and this will do the, pardon me, the coffee stirrers on the top and bottom. And if you have one that's kind of bent or wonky, that'd probably be the best one to use for this, I would guess. I'm going to snip the end off it to get it going though, so that we can do this quick. We'll do the top as well. And then we're pretty much done with 3 sides of it. All right. So we have two sides and the back done. Now on the front, we're gonna have a little bit of work to do. So on the front, we have to have a door, walls. We have a bunch of stuff we got to get done. So let's start by trying to make life a little easy on ourselves. We're going to build this frame part right onto this part before we even put planks down. Okay. And then let's see what I got. Kind of a longer piece here to maybe be the door, but it's not quite wide enough. So that won't work. Let's get something that we know a base will fit through. And we know this will. Let's try to center that on there. Make some marks. Okay, that's pretty centered. It looks close, all right? So what I want to do, I do want to cut this out, but what I want to do first is I want to make it a little bit wider than that inch. So I'm going to just make a little generic, almost about an 1/8 of an inch mark. And I'm going to just drag my glue down and attach these. Okay, let's snip those off. And let's get a piece here. Just like that. And we'll do this side too. Okay. We'll snip that off. Now let's get a bunch of our little slats. Try to see if we can get some spider webs out of that mess so I don't stick them all together while I'm trying to work with them. All right. And let's see if we have like a thicker one, so I don't have to try to jam two into that little spot. Whoops, threw my gun down. Okay. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. Alright, so we're going to need to cut a door out. We don't want it to be the full 2 inches. We want it to be close. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get another piece here. Okay, we're just going to throw that there. Just like that. And I wanted to have a window where it actually is stained glass up here. So the same things that I used on the sides, I am going to use up here too, to put this stained glass window in. First, let's get some windows here and get them cut out for the windows at the front of the church. And we'll put windowsills on those too. We're just going to position those as centered as we can here. All right, there we go. Snip that a little bit off. I don't want. Let's try to get this piece real good looking. Okay. We didn't get a good okay. Let's see what we got in the way of this stuff left. I don't have much of the little stuff left, so let's cut. We know we're going to have that giant window in the middle, so we have a little bit of freedom to mess around with this, I think. So to do that, what we're going to do to make this easy is we're going to cut some longer strips to be the roof part. Yep, this will work. All right, so to make this easy on ourselves, I think it's been about 19 years since I fired a gun till today. I will say, I was kind of surprised at how it doesn't really go away. I didn't think it was going to be like riding a bicycle, but honestly, it was a lot like riding a bicycle. Actually, I would say it was less like riding a bicycle and more like after one round of firing, my adrenaline was pumping a little bit and I was shaking. I was a little uncomfortable. I wasn't real, like, the noises were loud and kind of disturbing me, and people in there were being what I would consider to be unsafe and foolish and dumb. And as I sat there thinking, looking at all the different types of people that were firing guns and how incredibly different everyone was, and no one was looking at each other or thinking about it. They were just shooting and enjoying themselves. And I just kind of, I don't know. But after one round of shooting, next time, me and my buddy were shooting, next time I came around, it was my turn, I felt. All right. So what we want to do is kind of center that, the bear there, best we can, and use this to where that stained glass window is going to go. We're just going to pop that on there. Move it around while we still can, kind of get it where we want it. I think that's close. Now, I will tell you, I rented a gun because I didn't want to have to clean my gun. Because I didn't want to waste my whole afternoon doing that when I had videos to make. And I rented a gun. And I'll tell you this, I did not like it, the gun I rented. But my buddy had a 9mm, which was similar to what I had in the service. He had a Beretta, which was, it wasn't the exact same gun, but it was very similar to the Beretta I had, the M9. and I was able to do some pretty decent shooting with that piece. So for the stained glass window, I do want to frame it out in some way on the outside. I guess I'm going to use the small popsicle sticks to do that. So let's get, I can't even get this going here. Let's get a dry fit of how that's going to look. So we're going to set one there. Like that. We'll get that in place. I'm going to do the same thing at the top. Dry fit a piece. Just kind of cut it to where I need it to go. Now, when I got out of the military, I got rid of all my firearms. Just didn't keep any. I was kind of done with them. Didn't see the need. And then the world got a little nuts. I kept seeing the world get nutser and nutser and nutser, and decided I was going to get a firearm again. And I bought a pistol, something simple, something that I knew I could take care of, and I knew it would do what I needed it to do if I ever, someone ever crossed the line. And I've never needed to use it. But I also know that I needed to get familiar shooting again. Shit, Chris, you dumbass. Okay. So when he suggested we go shooting, I, of course, didn't want to. And I thought about it and said, all right, let's do it. And even though I still don't enjoy the sounds anymore, or the smell of gunfire, or what you can do with a gun if you have no conscience or forget about your conscience, I realize they are a powerful tool and somewhat necessary in our society. We have created a society where you have to have them because the bad guys don't follow the rules. As much as I don't like it, that's just the system. All right, so that's going to be the stained glass window. And I'd like to get some pieces going up like I have on the back here, but it's going to be awkward. So let's figure out how to do that real quick. So I think the best way to do that would be to come from the frame down. We'll cut this piece like this. And this piece, oops. Like that. And since I have a crazy line there, we're just going to guess. And hope it fits. Just like that. Oh, I threw it on the floor. Well, of course I did. Why wouldn't I? Unfortunately, we can use that same cut that way. Well, there are geese out front of my place for some reason. Well, I live right near a river, so. Okay. And then for that top part, where's that piece I flung all over the place? I could use that. There we go. So I'm going to snip this off at kind of an angle and hope that I can kind of Then on this side, I'm just going to kind of do something like that. And then just because I want to make this look a little schmancy, I'm just going to put one more layer across the bottom of that. Now I'm going to glue the stained glass portion on the inside. That was a mistake. It didn't add much to the piece. All right, so the floor. The floor pretty much can be done with a lot of cardstock or wood or whatever you want to use. I don't know if these would be long enough even to do it. No, not really. So you could cut long pieces, or you could leave it like this. I don't know how the best way to handle that floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some simulated planks. Like this. And hopefully as I paint that with some Mod Podge, because I'm going to have to paint this whole base with some Mod Podge. Hopefully as I paint this with some Mod Podge, those will become a little bit more noticeable lines. Okay, so let's get our back on there, and to mount the back, holy crap, pardon me. And then the sides. And that cane popped out a little bit. I don't like it. So I'm just going to pinch that down real good. And rub that glue along there. Make sure that's connected well. Okay. So for my sides, I'm going to do something similar. Okay. I made a mistake here. We're going to pull that off. And try that again. All right. We're going to come to the very outside with that. All right, and then for our sides, They're too long. I did somehow made them too long, even though I know I measured. Dry fit those. All right, so what we're going to do is come to the outside on here. And like I said, I know I dry fit this, so it should be absolutely perfect, but for some reason it is not. Okay. And then to make sure that kind of holds together, I'm just going to get a dab in there. I'm going to pull that tight in place. Let it sit for a second. Then we can get this side and do the same thing. Sorry. Can't even English today. Thing. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Get some glue and walk that up. And cinch that corner together nice and snug. Okay. Sweet. Now let's get the front of the church. Wait a minute. Is that the back? Oh, you son of a bitch. That's the front. All right. You know what? It's fine. Okay. All right, this should be pretty sturdy at this point. Now, see how those come out beyond? We need to build up a slope. And to do that, and to make these edges sturdy, all we have to do is do a little snip, snip. And drag it down. Push it outward so it's flush. Do a little snip, snip over here. That won't be long enough, so same thing. Glue. Buddy of mine that I served with is passing, well, he's not passing away, but he's got cancer. And I've been upset about it because he's somebody I just kind of thought would live forever. I mean, hell, we've all been blown up once or twice out of the, most of the friends there. And he just, I thought he was kind of out of it and fixed and better, and then he isn't. I've been kind of whiny about it. He's the one suffering from cancer, not me, but I've been the one whiny about it, I think. He made a post on Facebook today talking about how good he felt and how he's ready to face death like a warrior. And I just thought to myself, how much character, how much strength and force of personality do you need to be like that man? How can I get myself to a place where I can look death and say, you know what? cool. It's cool. It's one thing when you're young and you're in a group of people that all kind of have the same mentality, and it's easy to fake bravery and even, muster courage. But once you're old and kind of alone and things change, that's absolutely terrifying to me. Now, I'm not alone, but you know what I mean. No one's going to die with me today if I die. And I just wish that I can have so much dignity when my time comes. Great. So even though I did do this backwards and that was supposed to be where the step was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those Jenga blocks that I used to do the bottom. I'm going to make that the step, and to mount that, there's a couple things you can do, but what I want to do first is I want to get something I can trace into here with. And I want to kind of divide it in half the best I can. Okay, I need a knife first. Start on this side. So what I want to do is I want to kind of cut a kind of like dividing line in the middle there. This isn't a very good one. I wish I had a different one laying here. Do I? No. You find one that's not donkey wonky. Here we go. This will do it. Where'd I put that knife? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to cut a line, pardon me, just like down that center kind of. And then I'm going to use this piece of sharp metal. Something like that. And like that. And I'm just going to nip off a little bit of that. I'm going to glue that on the front. Just like that. Make kind of a step going in. Then I'm going to paint all of this whole bottom part, the ground, and this in Mod Podge. Okay? And then I'm going to sprinkle sand along the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all this with Mod Podge first. Let me make a clear spot to work. I'll show you. Okay. Well, hold on. There's a couple things I can be doing here to make my life easier. Before we start the roof, too, this is going to be important. That way we can kind of keep it level and hold on to it. And then we'll paint it up. So to paint with Mod Podge, I'm just going to get this little cup. I'm going to lift this camera up. I'm also going to pour some clear glue in this. And some brown paint. I'm using deep brown from the Dollar Tree. All right. we got to get all this done before we do the roof. That's going to be a big thing. So I'm going to mix this up. It's going to be sticky, and that's all right, and that's what we want. I'm not focusing on the side of the buildings, the brickwork yet. I'm focusing on the ground. And when this ground is dry after this, we can put sand on here. Then I'm going to come back and Mod Podge the whole inside and sides of the outside of the building. But first we got to get sand on here. Now, if you're doing your dry, dusty Old West that I've been doing, this is easy. And a lot of my campaign is going to take place in that. So even the buildings I built for, like, right now, they're in New Orleans. Well, it's a fictitious New Orleans, not the real one, but you know what I mean? It's not like it's an alternate history with fantasy. But right now it would be like swampy and dark and probably elevated off the ground or something. I don't know. You'd think I'd know. I've been to Louisiana and to New Orleans, but I just don't know how the church would look. Didn't stop to think about it, didn't look it up. But anyways, but since I'm using, they're going to be all over the West, and a lot of it's going to be arid and dry and unpleasant and gross. That's what I'm going to focus on, is that. Now, when I come back, the church itself will be, this part will be painted black or tan or gray or brown or whatever color. You know, I'm going to paint everything I have to with Mod Podge. And then the rest of it's going to be spray painted and getting ready for the next painting. Okay. And we'll set this off to the side. Now this is easy to clean up now. All I gotta do is, there's a little bit of paint in there that I don't want. Get a rag, scoop that out, a little bit of paint that got on there. And then the rest of this, I'm gonna shake it into a dustpan and back into my sand. All right, so here's part one, or part two of your church or chapel. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all the stuff we need for that algorithm. And until next time, thanks for watching.